The biggest barrier to a game's success isn't always its quality. Hell, it isn't even always related to its marketing. Sometimes games fall victim to unrealistic expectations. And often, those expectations were unwarranted to begin with, as is the case with the game we're looking at today, State of Emergency. Here's the thing. Rockstar was hot off the heels of Grand Theft Auto 3, a game that would come to revolutionize the industry. And at the time, it was already selling like crazy and receiving rave reviews. It didn't matter that they were only publishing State of Emergency and VIS Entertainment were the ones developing it. People wanted more of that open-world, ultra-violent goodness, and it looked like State of Emergency could deliver. But State of Emergency was something completely different, and a lot of people got turned off almost immediately. Instead of an open-world game where you could do just about anything you wanted, State of Emergency was a lot more like a modern River City Ransom. There are a number of levels, and each of them cover what is a surprisingly large amount of ground, assisting with the illusion of a somewhat open world in trailers and preview coverage. But at the end of the day, you're just kind of punching and shooting people over and over again. Like I mentioned earlier, at its core, this game is a modernized NES beat-em-up. But surprisingly enough, it works pretty damn well. There are two modes you can choose from. The first mode, and the game's main mode, is called Chaos, which is basically just a high score mode. As you run around blowing shit up, different modifiers will turn on and off, forcing you to adopt new strategies to score the highest score before the timer runs down. At first blush, the second mode seems a bit meatier, as you begin to take quests from people in the same levels that Chaos exists in, but this mode just doesn't have the same charm. I felt like I was doing an endless series of quests that had me doing the same sorts of things over and over for the rest of eternity with no obvious endpoint. There's not even an attempt to mix up the action like Chaos Mode does. Separated from the insane hype that existed at the time of its initial release, State of Emergency is a fun beat-em-up, but like so many games of its age, it does suffer some problems related to when it was first released, especially when it comes to how the game controls. Everything works totally fine when you're using melee weapons. It can feel a bit clunky at times, but you can always hit your target pretty easily, or at least another target near the person you're meaning to hit. Pick up a gun, however, and it kinda goes to shit. More often than not, you have to point it at something you kinda know is outside the space you can actually see, and just hope you're gonna hit something. Even picking up weapons can be kinda difficult given the game's chaotic nature. But ultimately, I feel that chaos is more beneficial than it is detrimental, as long as you can deal with it. The game is constantly alternating between being a fun beat-em-up and being a frustrating, barely functional mess. But I still found myself enjoying State of Emergency even when it was the mess. State of Emergency came out on PS2, Xbox, and PC, with no major issues on any of them, and more importantly, no supply constraints. That means the game is extremely cheap for any platform on the used market, and that price makes it that much easier to recommend. Every Monday, I look at a game that is at least 10 years old, what I would categorize as retro, and I see if it still holds up today, because that's what you want to know. Should I go play this right now? If you like that idea, be sure to subscribe so you can see the latest videos. If you like this video in particular, be sure to hit that like button, and if you have any suggestions for a game I should do in the future, be sure to leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.
Penalty on civilian kill.